This video covers my 36 hours project, which includes message store, calendar store and blob store. So when the program boots up, I have included a username checking which will authenticate the user once for that session, and whatever the user does in either of the three stores will have his or her name on it. So first the user enters the username and it's sent to the server which processes it, and then if the user is authenticated, he's displayed all these messages. So he's given a choice to choose a message store, blob store, calendar store, or add new users. So by default I've added a user called admin, and admin can add more users. So message store has the facilities of categories, viewing categories and adding categories, viewing messages, adding messages and deleting messages. In blob store I have upload file, download file, view file and delete files. In calendar store I implemented view categories, view people, add people to new categories, view appointments of a particular technician, and then add appointments for a particular person on a particular day. So there's this additional feature called add users. Now going to the server side code, I'll cover the message store first. Message store contains, I'm using two structures, category and message. Category contains cat, next and unused. I'm taking 256 bytes blocks, and the message store file is an 8 MB file. It's divided into 32,768 blocks, and I'm using 3 extra integers which will store the offset of categories, users and replies. So the 32,768 blocks will be represented as a bitmap in the beginning of the file, and the value that is 0 or 1 will indicate whether the bitmap, whether the block is free or occupied, so that the program can check and insert the messages or categories accordingly in the free blocks. So this will prevent internal fragmentation. I've used a similar concept for blob store and calendar store. In blob store I've used 1 GB file. So for a 1 GB file I'm using a block of 16 KB which contains user, file name and file data, and a next pointer which will point to the next file. Then I'm also using specialities, appointment and person. So I'm currently not using specialities, so I'm using appointment and person. Appointment will have the date, category, person, next and unused. So these are blocks of 128 bytes. So this is for the appointment and this is for a new person added to a category. This will contain his name, the category, his specialty and his phone number, and a next pointer pointing to the next field, and then there is this unused character array. So let's go to blob store first. Blob store contains upload file, download file, delete and view. So in upload file I'm taking in receive buffer, reply buffer, CSOC and user. So if the file is not created already, the file will be created. So if that is there, then I'm copying the user into the file, and I'm copying the receive buffer into the file name, and I'm receiving the file data for the second time. First time I'm asking the user to enter the file name, and then I'm asking the client to send the data. So the first time I'm receiving file name and second time I'm receiving the data. If it is null, I have to update the file offset at the beginning of the file to point to this location, and then I'm writing the file data and I'm exiting. Otherwise I have to check which block is free, and accordingly if the offset is 0, I'm breaking out and going to that block, writing the offset as 1, then I'm going to that offset of that block and I'm writing the file there Then I'm going to file start. I'm reading the file, and then I'm updating the file before this file such that its next points to this current file, so that this forms like a linked list kind of structure. So here, until f next is not equal to 0, I'm seeking and reading, and once it's 0, it will come out, and I'm allocating the offset to the next of that, so that the next of the previous file will point to this one. That's it for the upload. For the download file, I'm using, again, it's just receive buffer, reply buffer, and user. So I'm taking in the file name as the input. And if the file is null, I'm saying no file exists to be downloaded, and it's returning since nothing can be downloaded. Otherwise, I'm checking if the user and the file name are same. So if the username and file name are same, only then I will allow the downloading of data. If f dot next is not equal to 0, again I'm seeking one after the other, and if in any case the user and the file name matches, I'm copying it into the reply buffer, the file data, and I'm closing it. So if there is no such file with that name and that user, I will return no such file could be found for downloading. View files will display all the files of that particular user. So if it is null, again I'll say no files were added. Then I'm taking the file start, I'm taking a term which will terminate with a new line character after every file I'm adding. So I'm copying, so if file start is 0, then again there are no files, so I'm returning. Otherwise I'm checking for the user with the current user that is being read from file start. If it is equal, then I'm concatenating the reply buff with the file name and the terminating character. Otherwise, I'm seeking till the end, checking if any files were added by that user. If they were, I'm concatenating it to the reply buff, and I'm returning the reply buff. In the delete file, I'm taking in the file name, in the receive buff, the user. So I'm going to check if the user and the file name are both same. Only then I will delete it. I'm going to use a small formula here which will give me which block corresponds to the bit memory map that I've made. So using the file start minus size of int into 65537, this 65536 is the number of blocks possible for the blob store for 1 GB mapping. So by 16384, which is the size of each block. So I'm doing that, I'm finding the block size. I'm going to that block size. Since I'm deleting, I'm updating the value to 0. So the block is now free. Then I'm going to file start and I'm emptying it. File start here is again the offset. So if this is the first file, then I'm emptying the file start. Otherwise, I'll again have to seek and then I'll empty it. Then this is all for the blob store. Add categories. This is again very similar. I'm using 32768 blocks plus 3 extra blocks for storing the offsets. So I'm taking that. I'm reading the struct category. So I'm reading the cat start and I'm putting it. If the FP is null, since first of all when message store starts up, the categories are to be put first. So if FP is null, I'm adding categories. If it's not null, again I'll check which block is free and I'll put it in it by going till C2 of next is 0. Once it's 0, I'm going to put the current offset in that previous one and complete the linked list, and then I'm going to insert it in that offset and return it. So view categories, again I'm using a similar one as the view files. I'm using one delimiter between each file name, each category name. So I'm using a category and a delimiter, and I'm returning the reply buff once it's done. View messages, I'm seeking the message start. If the message start is 0, there are no messages to display. Otherwise, again, I'm concatenating if the category is the same as the category entered by the user, I'm giving in the user message, and so on. So all the messages of all the users for that particular category will be displayed. They're all concatenated and returned. And similarly for add messages, I'm doing a similar thing. Seeking the message start, if it is 0, I'll have to insert in the message start, make the corresponding block 1, and then write the file. Otherwise, I'll seek till the end, see which one is empty, and then I'm going to put it there. In delete messages, again, I'm seeking the message start. I'm checking until the message entered by the user equals any message in the list of messages. If they are equal, I'm going to delete it. I'm going to empty the block by replacing it with null characters. And then I'm going to make the corresponding block in the bit vector into 0. And I have to update the next of its previous to the current one's next, similar to a linked list. So I'm doing that, and here I'm clearing the block with an empty. So add users is a very simple function which will just seek the end and add a new user that the admin wants to add. View specialities is viewing all the categories for the calendar store. Again, I'm just reading from, I've defined a character array, 2D character array, which contains all the names of the technicians, all the categories. So that will be just displayed here. And then in view people, I'm adding new people. And by adding new people, in view people, I'm viewing all the people. So I'm displaying the name, specialty, and phone number. 3 separated by delimiters and terminating characters, which will separate each person. So if this is for the first one, so if this is not, again I have to seek till the end. I have to keep going. Wherever the category matches, I'm going to add it to the reply buffer, and in the end the reply buffer is returned. In add people, I'm going to add people. I'm going to take in the date. I'm going to take in the name, phone number, and the specialty. So I'm receiving that here. First, in receive buff, there's going to be the category name, and here there's going to be the details of the person, and then I'm going to put it inside. If FP is null, again I'm creating the calendar store. I'm creating the calendar store when I'm adding people. Otherwise, again I'll have to seek till the end, put it there, and make the corresponding previous next to point to this current new block's offset. So adding appointments, first in the receive buff I'm taking the category, then second time I'm taking the date and the person. So I'm copying the date and the person into 2 separate things to check later on. So if it is null, no people exist, so I'm returning it. Otherwise, I'm checking in all the blocks. Wherever it's empty, I'm going to put it there. And again I have to seek till the end, see where it is, where the last message was inserted, so that's next could be pointed to the current message. So view appointments, again I'm just going to the appointment start and seeking all the appointments. So until the next is 0, if the category and the person name both match, then I'm going to return them. That's it. So this is the process input function. I'm going to run this up now. So my program creates files in the first run. So it's asking me to enter a username. I'm entering admin. It's authenticating and it's showing me all the options. Let's do message store first. Message store, I'm going to add categories. Let's say I'm adding a category called, I have to select view categories or add categories. I'm selecting add categories. Then I'm adding a category called cupcake. So category was added successfully. Now I can view the category. So categories are cupcake. Then we'll go to the messages. I'll add messages here. So which category do you want to add it to? I'm going to add it to cupcake. Okay, I clicked on view messages, so it's saying no messages are displayed. So now I'll try to add. Second option. So it's asking me the category name and the message. I'm going to say hello. So it's added successfully. Now I'll check if the message is added or not. So I'm going to the second one, and then I'm going to view messages in cupcake, and it's showing me hello, admin hello. So admin typed that. So I'll go to message store, and then I'll go to delete. Now we're going to test out delete messages. So it's asking me which category do you want to delete from. I want to delete from cupcake. So enter the message you want to delete. I want to delete hello. So it's deleted. Then after that I'm going to Blob Store. In Blob Store, upload or download file. In upload file, I'm going to do hello.txt. It's going to upload. So this is the content of the file, and it's saying hello, I'm Vaishnavi, and the file is successfully uploaded. Now we'll try downloading this file. So enter the file to download. I want to download hello.txt. What do you want to save it as? I want to save it as hello.txt. So yeah, that is successfully downloaded. Now I'm just going to see which messages are there in the Blob Store. I'm going to press 3 and it shows only hello.txt is added. And then I'm going to try to delete the message files. So which file do you want to delete? I want to delete hello.txt. So file deleted successfully. Now I'm going to the calendar store. In calendar store, we'll add category, view categories. These are the 10 categories that are available. Now in the calendar store, I'm going to add people into the category you want to add to. Let's say I want to add to plumber. Enter the details of the person. Let the person be Somu, and his specialty be water leaks, then some number, and if I press enter, he was added successfully. Now I'm going to calendar store. I'm going to view people in a category. Enter the category you want to view. I want to view plumber. So Somu water leaks and his number is given. Now I'm going to add appointments. The fifth one is book appointments. So enter the category that you want to book. So let's book Somu. So I'm entering now. Enter the date. So let's enter for tomorrow, 25/07/2016. Space. The person is Somu. So appointment added successfully. Now we're going to check by using view appointments. Enter the category. Category is plumber. Enter the person's appointments. Whose appointments do you want to see? I want to see Somu's appointments. So it's telling me that he's not free on 25th July 2016. So that appointment is booked. So now when I press 5, this exits, both of them exit at the same time. And that's it.